This phone is everywhere in Africa. It's called Techno. It's made right here in Ethiopia and designed for markets like Ethiopia, but it's actually Chinese. Techno is owned by Transsion, a Chinese company that's never sold a single phone in China. It's the fourth largest mobile phone maker in the world and the top smartphone maker in Africa. They got so big by making phones that have Chinese components but are designed and assembled here. The phones have features like cameras that calibrate for darker skin, multiple SIM cards, and keyboards in African languages. You think it's better than the iPhone? Yeah. Transsion is an example of a wave of Chinese companies investing in Africa's fast-growing tech market. These companies are bringing together Chinese manufacturing and designs by people who understand their customers.
所有合作人，大家都有钱赚。
We're traveling around the world to see how China is changing everything. This week, a story about how one Chinese city is at the center of Ethiopia's burgeoning startup scene. I'm Isabel Niu reporting for Quartz. This is Because China. Ethiopia has one of the fastest growing economies in the world. A lot of this growth is being fueled by China. It's hard to miss its presence here. Even street vendors speak Mandarin.
你办的什么电话卡？
我有的500的100的。
The Chinese government has invested in large infrastructure projects. Chinese companies are moving factories here, hiring the country's young workforce. 70% of its population of 100 million are under age 30. There's also something really unique happening. Partnerships between Chinese companies and Ethiopian entrepreneurs.
When it comes to some designs, the hardwares, the ones we are using in Ethiopia, you can see that some of them are designed for another world.
Huroi Sagaye is the co-founder of ICOG Labs, the first AI and robotics tech startup in Ethiopia.
We should have hardware designers in Ethiopia who understand the Ethiopian psyche, who understand the Ethiopian demand, who understand the Ethiopian market.
In 2018, ICOG Labs, along with the Ethiopian Ministry of Technology and Innovation, organized the country's first hardware tech innovation contest, called Designed in Ethiopia. They wanted to find the best product pitches from all over the country and provide them with resources to go to market. To actually make the products, Huroi and his team turned to China for partners, specifically to the Chinese city of Shenzhen. Why do you prefer to work with the Shenzhen makers and companies?
You have very experienced hardware engineers there. The price is also affordable for countries like us.
Hardware makers in Shenzhen like to brag that they can make electronics for the price of cabbage. This market is part of what makes Shenzhen so appealing to Ethiopian designers. It aligns with Shenzhen's unique open-source manufacturing ecosystem. Open source usually refers to the sharing of code to develop software. This is the sharing of parts and designs for hardware. Companies come here to buy what they need. The open source culture came out of the era of Shanzhai, or copycat culture. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the small manufacturers that were making electronic parts for multinational corporations like Apple banded together to make knockoff versions of name-brand electronics. The Shanzhai era eventually faded as name-brand electronics became more affordable to Chinese consumers. But open-source manufacturing continued, and Shenzhen started getting recognized by the rest of the world as a hub for hardware innovation.
So all of this happened within a very short time span between 2010 and 15.
Sylvia Lintner studies entrepreneurship culture in China. She says Shenzhen offers affordable technology that African tech entrepreneurs can adapt.
They began turning to Shenzhen as a place where they could actually make some of these visions that they had, sort of designing technology very specifically for an African context. They felt like Shenzhen was a good partner in that.
他们真正的想要解决人的问题，真正的想要找到能够落地的市场。那在这个方面，深圳能够给他们很多的帮助。
David Lee is the founder of Shenzhen Open Innovation Lab, which connects tech entrepreneurs from around the world to Shenzhen's manufacturers. His organization became the Chinese partner for Design in Ethiopia, offering mentor trainings and connections with Chinese factories. Lee says he's investing in African talents because of what he saw in Shenzhen over the past 30 years. Many international companies saw China only as a factory and not as a resource.
因为我来自台湾，台湾在80年、90年就开始往大陆投资，台湾人开了很多工厂，但台湾人没有投资到的就是中国的人才，所以到今天我们看得到的中国的互联网、中国的 BAT， 完全没有台湾的投资者的影子。埃塞首都 Addis Ababa 到深圳在2000年，两个都市其实看起来很像。
So this is the final product.
The final
you just
product.
plug it into a laptop.
This USB-like gadget is one of the product designs that emerged from Design in Ethiopia. It's called the FM dongle. You can plug it into a laptop to listen to and record radio programs without Wi-Fi, which is unreliable and expensive in Ethiopia.
We won the second place out of 100 teams.
From all over the country.
Yeah.
It's the kind of product the contest was created for, one that emerged from an Ethiopian mind with a unique insight into the market here. Since winning the contest, they have made 5 prototypes.
The middle part is
The electronics PCB board.
and that's sourced from China.
China. Yeah, using Alibaba. Yeah.
Now they're looking for investment to manufacture the FM dongle with Chinese partners.
We assume that this will be the first seeds in which we can create the ecosystem of the hardware business in Ethiopia.
From Shenzhen entrepreneurs' perspective, finding partners in emerging markets makes business sense. Rising labor costs and fierce competition in China are driving many businesses to reach more consumers outside the country.
Around 2013 and 14, a lot of people working in that industry felt compelled to change their business.
Emerging markets tend to offer lower margins, but Shenzhen companies say they can tolerate that.
深圳50%的利润到1%的利润的产品都有人在做。那在这个环境底下，我们不会把这个做产品当作是一项慈善的事情。这件事情是有钱大家赚。
This kind of partnership is still pretty unusual. China's biggest investments in Ethiopia resemble those in other African countries. They're led by governments and becoming increasingly controversial. Large loans are putting the country in a staggering amount of debt. Many companies that set up factories have been accused of exploitation, environmental violations, and corruption. Partnerships like Hurei's might not replace more conventional investment in Ethiopia, but he's optimistic that it gives more Ethiopians a seat at the table.
We are moving towards China because China is a better alternative. Then if they try to cheat us, okay, we have to fight that, I know, but at least it's something between partners.
This story is a free episode from our member-exclusive series, Because China. Click to sign up for a free trial for a Quartz membership. You'll get access to the entire series and the 3rd season, which we're working on right now.
Very well, you're watching SMB. My name is RITAH KABANYORO and you're watching Smart 24 TV. Now just 51 minutes past 9 in the morning and we're heading into actually our last hour, that is around 10. And today I have decided to drive businesses with you, not with JORRAM SONKO. JORRAM SONKO actually will be joining us from the field where he will bring us some expert analysis still, because we have an event coming through on our screen or on your screen right there just shortly after SMB. And just to take you now on what happened on a day like this. This is our diaries. Now in 1974, on a day like this, that is of August 9th in 1974. As a direct result of Watergate scandal, Richard Nixon became the first president of the United States to resign from office. Now his vice president, Gerald Ford, becomes president. Now we had a vast resignation from U.S. presidents. That was Richard Nixon, who resigned after administration policies from USA by then that had, everyone went during our governance, even during our relations, maybe chino sija chisola. So some administration policies actually had started, interfering with maybe code of conduct of Richard Nixon, which led to his resignation, and Gerald Ford became the president. That was his vice president by then in 1974. And still moving on to our diaries, what happened on a day like this? What could have probably missed out, or what could you have probably missed out on a day like this? In 1945, that was the World War II, Nagasaki was devastated within the automatic or atomic bomb that was Fat Man was dropped by the United States B-29 Boxer. 35,000 people were killed around there, including the Japanese war workers, 2,000 Korean forced workers, 150 Japanese soldiers, 23,228,000 Japanese war workers were also killed in that particular devastating atomic bomb during the World War II. You can imagine over 1 million people here were killed on a single day of that particular bomb in 1945. That one was a very, I can say, absurd one for the nations around there, that is Japan, Korea, and Japan and Korea. We continue to say, may their souls rest in peace. I'm not crying, I'm feeling sad for them, but as well as sweating. You're watching Smart 24 TV. Earlier this morning, we had expert discussions and also engagement on monetary fund, an issue that still remains lacking into public awareness, but Smart 24 TV is here to bring it on your doorstep or on your screen right there. And yes, just make sure you play a role as a public or as people, as citizens, as Ugandans. What role are you playing to make sure that Bank of Uganda, to make sure that government entities, not only Bank of Uganda, not only Parliament, not only some ministries, do implement effectively what we want or what the public wants, and not only what we want, but what is necessary. And you can only know what is necessary by visiting what's happening globally and also what's happening as an entity in the country, and find out some of the issues that are actually pinning into the society, and how your local authorities or how the authorities in that particular community are addressing. And in case you have not had any response yet, that means maybe there is how is it called, relaxation among your authorities, relaxation among your leaders. So how should we make sure that we pin some of the authorities, we pin some of the concerns so that they can be worked on? We look forward on the 23rd of this month, August, to receive the printed money, away from the 4 times that we have received earlier before, in 2009, in 2008, when there was a global world crisis again of public debts, and also that was around 2005. Yes, and now it's going to be a 4th one, 2021, when we're going to be receiving another bunch of printed money or SDR from IMF. And this time we're yet to find out around this week whether it's 1.24 billion or 1.2 billion shillings, that I mean US dollars, that we will be receiving as a country. And just remember, there are 190 countries that will be receiving this particular SDR, and Uganda being a member. And now we're going to be returning shortly after the break with our business tips and how actually you can drive your businesses successfully. And now when we do return, that is the time, or this is the time when you get your notebook ready, when you get your notepad ready, when you get your pen and book or pencil and paper. Yeah, pens and paper, or your WhatsApp caller tune ready to holler at a friend that, hey, Smart 24 TV is going to give you the job mat. When we do return after the break, on your screen that will be relayed there. My name is RITAH KABANYORO and you're watching Smart 24 TV. This is SNB, and we continue shortly after the break.
Smart 24, driving business. Very well, 1 minute past 10 in the morning. How are you doing? Hope you're having a very great time. And you're welcome to the last hour of SMB, Smart Means Business. My name is RITAH KABANYORO. Catch me up on social media platforms at RITAH KABANYORO or at R KABANYORO. Don't forget to go and leave your comments or what you actually do expect in the meantime, or what new discoveries do you have for us around there, and that is going to comment onto to www.smart24tv.com or reach out to our other social media platforms at Smart24TV, that is on YouTube. Do not forget to subscribe there, and Facebook, with Twitter as well. And now we're going to be heading to our discoveries shortly. About 3 minutes past 10 in the morning. Now let's head into our first discovery. Let's cross to Nairobi, where it is turning plastics into bricks. There's a company there in Nairobi now turning plastic into bricks, and we're going to be learning a lot of experience from that. I don't want to talk a lot about it, but let's just take it have a look briefly. We do return to discuss on that.
Let's turn trash into cash. My name is Nzambi Mate. I'm the founder of Jijenge Makers Limited, and we convert plastic waste into building products. Plastic waste is not just a Kenya problem, but it's a worldwide problem. And here in Nairobi, we generate about 500 metric tons of plastic waste every single day, and only a fraction of that is recycled. We decided, what more can we do instead of just sitting in the sidelines and complaining? Essentially, companies have to pay to dispose the waste. So we solve their problem. The waste essentially comes for free. This is the plastic waste we get from factories. With this, we mix with sand, as the plastic is like the binder. We have 3 machines. The extruder does the mixing of plastic waste with sand at very high temperatures, and then the press compresses it. Plastic is fibrous in nature, and so therefore the brick ends up having a stronger compression strength. Does that look like waste to you? It's almost half the weight, so therefore during transportation and installation it's faster in terms of cost implication. We right now have a capacity of producing 1,000 to 1,500 bricks a day. So far we have recycled 20 metric tons, and we are looking to push that value to 50 by the end of next financial year. Winning the Young Champions of the Earth award is a huge motivation booster for us as a team. It's been a long 3-year journey, and so this was like someone saying, I see what you're doing and I appreciate that. And with this platform, we're looking to see how we can get on both partners to scale this solution, not just in Kenya, but all over Africa, just to start. And in addition to that, be able to impact and motivate other people and other youths to do similar things in different places. So right now we are just making paving blocks, but we now want to make actual building blocks. As I like saying, you have to be true to your why. Why are you doing this? What is the motivation behind it? For me, I was just tired of being in the sidelines of seeing plastic. I ideally jumped in off a cliff without even a parachute. I was building it as I was falling down. But isn't that how great things are done? So act for nature.
Very well, you can see right down there the designs that you have been able to see. I don't know if you have seen them, but how they are recycling plastics and are turning them into bricks. They're actually very beautiful bricks. I think they are called, there is another word I was looking for, pavers. Yes. I've seen beautiful pavers around, not only bricks by the way, but also pavers have been turned from plastics around there. And when you look at the breaking ground after Kenya, imposing on the law in 2017 on the use of manufacturing import of plastic bags as part of global effort to limit plastic waste. Now, many people actually, there are 4 main engineers in Kenya who started now venturing into that. But it always has to begin with someone, so that we always copy and do the necessary. Now there you go, you have seen Ngejo there is one of the people or the innovators that are actually doing very well when it comes to plastic recycling, and very well coming out with the bricks or pavers. So in case you just missed, so you can start by collecting plastic waste, because she was telling us around there how she is collecting plastic waste, and this does not only come with you as an individual, but there are many people who have to collect plastic waste, and we have seen even people around here in the country, but they have business, like these are business entities which go under recycling. And just the challenging I've seen in the country here, yes, we have people who do carry the plastic waste, but I have not yet seen any coming out to say, yes, this is a challenging one. I have done pavers, I have done bricks. It's always recycled to other maybe bottles. We see people shaking and then washing them, cleaning them, and making other designs. I have seen someone making actually bags out of the plastic bottles, bags. So this one is a very good one where pavers are also made. So you can see gray pavers, you saw pavers, the red, you saw gray ones, you saw blue ones, there was also green mixtures. The gray pavers sell around €8 per square meter, while the colored pavers sell for around €10. So you can imagine the revenue people are getting from certain innovations that is in regards to plastic, which shows that everything is very important. We may consider it as just something not worthy or something maybe lacking value, but hey, it's very important. Someone was saying the fact that a particular entity exists, that is the first reason you should consider that it is very important in an everyday life. And now this one moves us to our other actually discovery this morning around Smart 24 TV, where we're going to be looking at the clock tower in London and get to know what is inside that beauty, what is inside that beautiful scenario that people go to tour, that has also brought a number of euros in terms of revenue collections to Europe. Now let's get into inside the Big Ben clock at the clock tower in London and explore there, and then we do return to talk about more of that beauty and scenario there.
They are the iconic images of the Olympic host city.
And immediately in front of us is Buckingham Palace.
Must-see attractions on every guided tour.
Piccadilly Circus, the Lantern Eye,
Trafalgar Square.
But there is one
Big Ben in front of us now, chaps.
that towers above them all.
Big Ben and the clock.
It may be the world's most famous clock and the most photographed too. But of the thousands of photos snapped every day, almost none of them are of the real Big Ben. You see, Big Ben is the bell that hangs inside the clock tower. To see that, you have to know someone with a key.
It's just an amazing job. I'm totally blessed to be doing it. Very lucky.
Catherine Moss was our guide for a rare tour, usually reserved for British citizens who are given permission by someone in Parliament. Few Americans have ever climbed these 334 steps. Our destination, the top of the famous clock tower.
So welcome, here we are. We're 62 metres over London, and in front of you is the bell you've all come to see, Big Ben II.
This is Big Ben. It's a bell weighing 13.5 tons.
It's over 7'6" high.
9 feet wide.
And it's nearly 9 inches thick.
The famous bell is in a room just above the clock, which is spectacular from anywhere in London, whether it's during the day or at night. But the clock is even more interesting when you're behind it.
You're now standing behind one of 4 famous clock faces. This one faces south, back over Parliament, towards the Victoria Tower. Now, each one of these clock faces are 23 feet or 7 metres in diameter. They each contain 312 separate pieces of this pot opal glass, which is inserted into this cast iron framework.
The hands of the clock may be visible from the streets of London, but the actual device is rarely seen.
The king of clocks, the prince of timekeepers. This clock has been ticking in this room almost uninterrupted for over 150 years.
Keeping this 19th century clock on the correct time involves pennies.
Little pile of these.
Clockmakers will add a coin to speed up the pendulum or remove a penny to slow down the clock. It's a process done 3 days a week. Every 15 minutes, 4 chime bells ring. And at the top of every hour, Big Ben, the real Big Ben, makes its presence known. A familiar sound that's resonated with Londoners for 150 years.
It's such an iconic building, just part of our everyday lives. When you see Big Ben, no matter where you are around the world, you know that means home sweet home.
There you go, you had it, Big Ben. I'm just certain, and I'm very hopeful after the clock tower around here. Queen, Saya Queen, Shakira, how do they call the clock tower around from Saya Queen? Yes, Kusaya Queen. I wish it can also, be notified like that, given all the prizes. But yes, we're going to do that. Unless I've done that before. But let's now first talk about Big Ben. Every 15 minutes, so you hear clocks, ticking around every 15 minutes. But at every top of the hour, so the real Big Ben bang hits like boom, and the areas around get to know that, oh, it's actually the top of the hour. And before even we get into its history, because you have seen for over 115 years, Big Ben clock is around there and making numerous talks, and the biggest around UK, not only UK but also in London. Now let us look into Big Ben. The name actually is a nickname coming in from Great Bell of Striking Clock at the north end of the palace of Westminster, although the name is frequently also extended to refer as the clock tower. So Big Ben is that particular clock tower you were seeing around there. And This one also, the tower was designed around by Augustus Pingyun in the Neo style when it was also completed in 1859. But let's dive into how it has been designed. When you look at the tower's completion in 1859, the tower also was designed around there over 316 feet. You can imagine 315 and 16 feet, and also 180 feet above the ground level. The tower also has measuring square feet of around 12.2 meters on each side. So Obugazi, I can't really tell now, Obugazi, because I don't know where you're watching us from right now to rate for you. I can't really tell you, but at least you have seen a picture of Big Ben and shown a letter around there. And just to let you know, on the contribution of Big Ben, of that great bell around there, so many people actually feel it is the great center of UK in regards to, I can say, knowledge. Someone said, not someone, even some people always refer to it, time is money, time is money. So there is always need for a clock somewhere, and which is why even our country, Uganda, here has got different clocks, different Sawaza Queen. Even this one is it was named after, not named, but inspirations still came after Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of England, or Queen of England anyway. But also even in Uganda here, we have most of the clocks coming after the Queen, Masaga Queen, Saya Queen. But we are not of that standard. I can say that it's not the standard of Big Ben, and I would want to appeal whoever is behind it, whoever is going on with the renovation. And yes, I appreciate the work that is being done around Sawaya Queen, from around Nsambia or Kuva Nsambia and Tebe Road, Kampala, going to the other side, Chibuye. So I mean Chibuli, is it Chibuye, Chibuye? Those names confuse me a bit, but along Entebbe Road. So I still say that I look forward to seeing such a beauty also and historical moment being made around the country. Very well, that brings us to the end of our discoveries this morning. And now it's time to get your pen, it's time to get your notebook, it's time to get your paper, and then we return shortly with our job mat. About 20 minutes, at exactly 20 minutes past 10 in the morning. Welcome to our job mat. This is SMB. Let's dive directly into it with the office assistant at World Vision Uganda needed. How do you get there? So the World Vision is a Christian relief, development and also advocacy, and a non-governmental organization dedicated to work with children and families. Very well, you can get to know more about that when you research about the World Vision Uganda. But now, what is it with this particular office assistant at the World Vision Uganda? The key responsibilities here, you have to clean the organization office and compound. Very officers. Okay, so I had to refer again. Really, the office assistant? Yes. Clean the organization office and compound. Sweeping and mopping. You have dusting. You have scrubbing. Okay. Waste management. Collect wastes. Okay. Repels toiletries. Scrub the restrooms. Okay. For the office, I'm still confused. Like, office assistant, you're going to be, I mean, I should not even paint it in your main though. Even, please don't share what I'm thinking. Yes, don't share what I'm thinking, because an office assistant, you can do only clean. You can, do the laundry. You can do so. You're needed at the the office of the World Vision Uganda to really do those qualifications. Now, the education, knowledge, technical and skill experience, at least on O-level certificate. Computer literate, must be fluent in English, must be hardworking, must be able to calm stressful moments, and also attend and participate, lead daily devotions or weekly chapel. So it being a very religious entity, you have to at least be aware of the chapels they have. They have not disclosed the payment routines around, but surely you can visit World Vision Uganda and get to know around there. Let's head to Total Uganda, where it is looking for a graduate drilling engineer or graduate drilling engineers at Total Uganda. So this one is basically for you who is at home seated watching. Yes, I mean you, or you have a brother or sister who is a graduate and in an engineering department. Total is telling you that actually they have got a job for you and offering exciting entry-level opportunities for drilling engineers and supervisors. Now, successful candidates will undergo a 6-month training drilling program at the International French Petroleum Institute in France. This one is promising and has got a lot of exploration and adventures. Surely, why not be a part of this? So let's dive into how you can actually get to apply. So before that, the opportunity is open to young university graduates willing to specialize in drilling, wells and field disciplines. You will then be aligned on site on rotation basis to first familiar with the operations. That's the training they're telling you, and that you will be having it from France. How to apply? Students with a bachelor's in general engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, industrial engineering and petroleum engineering degree from recognized universities are encouraged to apply. So how do you know that my university is actually recognized in regards to engineering programs? Very well, we have Chambago is recognized, Makerere University is recognized, I think Kampala University is recognized. And your university, I can say, because they say in related field, that means even if you have had an engineering course from anywhere, really, to me, I think your skill matters and your passion matters. So make sure do not be bound by the university recognition. Even whether it's an institution, please do apply, because you have what it takes and you have to believe in yourself. So the eligibility, you must meet the following: a Ugandan national below 28 years, first class or upper second class degree in Bachelor's of Engineering. So very well, if you have a first class or second upper degree in engineering, you can surely get to know that. The monthly payment has not been yet disclosed, because surely you will have to go under training in France for this particular job. Go to Total, visit Total Uganda for more information on the engineering basis or criteria that actually you can have around here. Okay, we're still continuing with our job mat today. Let's take a look at healthcare. Let us take a look at healthcare and everyone who needs healthcare advisors. Okay, 2 fresher enrolled midwife NGO job vacancies at Baila College. You are needed. 3 fresher enrolled midwife you're needed at Baila. Okay, let us get into it around here. Baila College Medicine Children Foundation is enrolling the 2 midwife entry levels. You must have a window. Okay, yes, I'm sorry, it's a bit confusing, but let me get to read for you a network of Okay, sure, I have it now. So it's a College of Medicine for Children's Foundation Uganda is an indigenous or non-profitable organization. So the experience, they need you to have the idea of candidates to have enrolled before in midwife, and the job must hold a certificate in you have to hold a certificate of midwifery A minimum for 2 years of midwifery working experience registered with licensing body. Okay, you must have undergone midwifery A, big letter A. So if you're a nursing entity or a scientist there, you usually understand very well. So go to Bailey College of Medicine and get to know really what it takes for around there. And that is how we end our job mat this morning. I hope we have helped. I hope this morning you have gotten a friend, a job, especially for the engineering, especially for university students right now, university graduates. I hope you have really gotten some opportunities right here. And now we're going to be taking a break. When we do return from that commercial break, we will surely dive into our business tips, where we're going to drive that successful business together and make sure to boost that startup of yours together. RITAH, KABANYORO. This is SMB. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.
32 minutes past 10. How are you doing? You're watching SMB right here. Thank you for being part of us, for waking up with us, for starting your day with us right here from 7 to 10. Now we're into our last minutes of the show. That's SMB. JORRAM SONKO has not managed to be with me, to drive businesses with me today, but surely I am driving it. We're driving it together across the country, across the continent, and across the globe. My name is RITAH KABANYORO. Now let's please share on how you can boost that startup of yours, or how you can actually maintain successfully your business ideas that you've got and your business. We're still referring to the top 100 business advisors from the top successful businesses across the world. Make sure you do leave a comment onto our social media platforms ranging from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. When you go to YouTube, make sure you hit the subscription button. Surely you do not want to miss out onto our daily programs in regard to business opportunities. We've got a website for you at www.smart24tv.com. Without further ado, let's get into our business tips. We are on to 59th one, and that's allocating correctly. Let's get through how you can truly allocate correctly, or what do they even mean by allocating correctly. Another area where you can quickly lose focus is your top level targets. When you are starting out, you are highly unlikely to be profitable from the start. Yes, we have come talking about that, and I hope now you know to go by that in case you have been following. In case you've not been following us and this is maybe your first time onto our business tips, surely go to our YouTube channel and look for Smart24 TV SMB. You will surely get to know what we're talking about in regards to our business tip. Now, moving forward, it's easy to believe your hype about user growth, headcount increase, and also even revenue. But the core of business that is going to be successful for a long term is scaled that you have profitable product within a customer acquisition. Now, some clients' product or acquisition strategies can be unforgettable and scale up based on those that will mean that you have actually key factors and also having deep understanding of your businesses. Okay, lastly on here, if you're producing budgets and cash flow statements, you're probably not getting enough value from them. I repeat, if you're producing, if you're producing budgets and cash flow statements, you are probably not getting enough value from them. And reality is that despite the way you often portray the media building profitable business a long term, hard work are not anymore cash shortcuts. Let us get into allocating correctly. First of all, pick outs here are clients, number one, the product, number two. When I say product, basically I'm talking about product and service. So client, product, and service. We're going to look at allocations, and what allocations are we meaning here? Money, where do you say chino kanchiteke muchino, or zino kanchiteke muzino? How do you even allocate? For example, stock. Okay, we were still on money, product stroke service, and then we have labor as our number 4, because you cannot operate without at least labor. In case you have a built entity already, you can't operate without a client. That's your market. You can't operate without a product or service, because that's what you're extending to people, extending to your markets. And you can't totally operate without capital. You can't start up without capital. And in this regard, capital is the allocation we are talking about. How are you going to be allocating? Nogamba kati ngena tandika woche kale nze simanyi kyengenda tandikawo wano naye gw'omanyawo kyogenda otandikawo okutunda embuzi. Shakira, which business can I refer? What do you want to start with? cake business, because today I'm expecting to eat cake. Okay, let's start with cake. Ngenda kutandika okukola cake. Ku cake kiki kyenteekamu? N'obala omukozi omukozi kansooke muleke. N'obala market, how will I reach customers? Like how many people even do I need for the start? No, kale market ne tugiteeke ebbali awo esooka ebeerewo. And then market, of course, they are the clients. N'obala labor, I said labor tusooke tumuteeka aside in case you have your own skills and you can multitask. You can do your cakes alone actually and multitasking. So you start allocating on different I can say different entities according to how urgently and profitability that you're going actually to get, because they even told you if you're seeing your cash flow, I mean your ledger flow is counting less, that means you're not even reaping. I don't know how many of you actually are using ledgers behaving osalamu line. At least I've done that before in regards to entrepreneurship. Osalamu line noandika cash flow, waliwo sales, waliwo net profit in ledger. I don't know how to put that in Luganda, but embalirira y'ebitabo simanyi gwobalirira otya, but I know at some point you have to kubalirira ebitabo byo. Bw'osanga nti embalirira mu bitabo byo engeri gy'obadde obalirira ebitabo n'osanga nti nno sente waliwo ezibuzeebuzeeko awo, that means waliwo by'otatereezezza in regards to even allocation okugaba that money as a cent olina by'otatereezezza. So just to move forward, for example, I was giving you, if I'm starting up a cake and I'm multitasking a bakery, or I'm a multitasking person, surely sigenda kungamba nti I'm going to look for a lot of money. I hire people because I can do that. Maybe for the start I can get my kid to help me, or I can get maybe one person, a relative or a friend. I will see labor ninja. You see that the capital you will put in labor is less than the one you will actually put to look for clients or market. Because again on nonya katale, you will have to put in transport. Sometimes you'll have to, if you're going to do a door-to-door delivery, you will have to put on I can say online costs in regards to data, or in regards to even airtime, because you have to call clients. So you can say at the start, customer or market, the capital you need is more costly than the labor. So you just have to figure out what you really want to achieve at a particular point, which makes us move to our next one this morning. Remove yourself from equation. Just sorry to clean up my sweat. Remove yourself from the equation. Yes, this is how we do it. The business will never be able to grow beyond what you physically can do. Okay? What you can physically can do yourself, which in turn is limited by the fact that there is only 24 hours in a day, and that is all by your stigma. Secondly, when it comes to time to value your business and then sell your business, a prospective buyer will only want to buy the business if you come along with it. That's what I was saying earlier. Prospective buyers try to avoid key main risks scenarios, and if the business relies upon the founders, then the sale or a sale is made much harder. Okay, this one now, let us begin it. Let us refer it for the starters. If you have your starting business, or if you're starting up your business, how much are you investing into that particular startup? Because they're telling us here, never be able to grow beyond what you can physically do, because a day has got 24 hours. 24 hours. So here I am, I want to start up my bakery, St. Rita Bakery, Rita Bakery, whatever it is, KABANYORO Bakery Center. It's not that I am manager. Please check it. Do not invoice me. I'm just giving an example. So the St. Rita Bakery, or Rita's Bakery. Limited and Family and Sons, whatever it is basically. So if I'm to start up that, how am I going to use the 24 hours to make sure in those 24 hours I'm very productive at RITAH's Bakery or at RITAH's Daughters and Sons Bakery Center Limited, whatever it is? How are you going to make sure? Let's count the 24 hours. Count with me. You have how many hours do you sleep? Very well, you have named them. I sleep maybe, I don't know the hours I sleep, they really depend, but business people say you have to sleep for 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours. I don't know how you can manage that, but as a 24 hours, that means when you're sleeping, we are not counting those hours, like you're not thinking. You're sleeping, like you're off. I'm not talking about a sawa mwende yozuku and then you think. No, I'm talking about the sleeping hours. Let's count. Okay, for the startup, let's count 5 hours. 5 to 5. That means, okay, 4. That means you have to 20 hours in Nyazigenze. When do you have time? Because you have to have time for your family. Let's take off maybe 2 hours. 2 hours, that means you will have engagements if you're a lady, because it depends, by the way, if you're a woman or a man, because the hours actually a gentleman or a lady will spend, they are very different. The hours I spend in the bathroom, probably a man can't spend them there. I mean, the time I spend in the bathroom, the time I spend dressing up, for a man it's different. So how do you calculate your hours to make sure in those hours you're going to be very productive and deliver? Number 2, how are you engaging physically, because they are telling us total engagement into the production and service is very important for your physical support. Remember when we were here telling you last week about when people keep on recruiting people, but then you have not done that particular work before for yourself, so you do not know what transpires or what happens around that particular business that you're doing. So any slight mistake, you just I think I need someone new, or I think I need to hire another entity, or Goba, because has done probably a very simple mistake, because you have not been there before, you have not delivered a certain product to a doorstep, you don't know what happens on the road or on the way to delivery. So when something happens, you really take the blame much onto the employee or onto the laborer, but not forgetting that maybe if you were there before, you would know, or you would know even how to advise, but then you tend to take on a wrong way of just recruiting. Remember, you're costing, you're taking money, you're taking time. So you have to physically be there before, especially for the startup. Bola cake. Leka kugamba nti no ngenda nina sente zange nzifunye, okay, let's do what? Let me put up a stall there. Notandika abakozi ndowooza neetaaga 5 n'obateekawo. You've never done cake before. Yes, you have the passion. I have never done it. I don't know even to make any mixtures or any cake chemicals or any ingredients. It's going to be very costly for you in regards of, because you're not going to have your ledgers right. You won't know even how to bring in stock. You will learn at work, yes, but it's better to first go into that training and learn actually how do I engage myself, how do I do this particular business. Now let's cross to the second one, where they were telling us when it comes to time value of your business and selling your businesses, the prospective buyer will only want to buy business if you came along with it. Hati waliwo abantu abamu oyina business naye tomanyi jinnyonnyola. I don't know if you're part of those people or you have seen them. You want to sell a product or service, but you are not good at actually explaining it. Like business toze nayo, like ojirese namabega. But there is someone who, for example, maybe you're a marketeer or you're first of all, there are a lot of entities that actually can work along with you ngotambudene business. First of all, branding. How have you branded yourself to go and impress a certain entity or a certain organization that you're pitching to, or in case it's a funder or you're looking for support, how have you branded yourself for that person to, you know, be attached and be impressed at first. Number two is communication. How are you even communicating? You may be, yes, or branding ze or jambadde na Rita Bakery sat or zmazeyo Rita Bakery wetunu is even the earrings, everything Rita Bakery, yes. But then what comes out of you, like what you're communicating is different. Like you do not know even the kind of lines you're supposed to use. Toma in a statement jonoza ko bomaloku okulamso omuntu. Good morning, good evening, yes. I'm here, my name is Rita, I've come for. Like you be dry, like tomanyi chozako. So that is when they say business or jirese mabega. Or there as a person, but someone has nothing to buy from you or has nothing actually they can buy from you, walk away from you with in regards to your business, product or service. Can we make sure we learn to communicate? Can we make sure we learn to brand? Sometimes you don't have entities to brand, or kolese masati, or kolese ma t-shirt, or kolese motokan or timba. You don't have that money, you're a startup. But have communication, have a word, have an impression, have a strong pitch that will always, you know, make you reach tables of businessmen that you can actually thrive with that idea that you're having. And you're going to ask me, how can I learn to communicate? If you have a smartphone, you can go on Google. Google actually teaches a lot of things. You can just type in and they will give you some tips. But what you can go away with me on how you can actually learn to communicate is seeing other people, how they... Have you been to a conference before? Have you attended a workshop? Have you engaged in any business classes? You can see how people are pitching. Also, or engaging even friends. You will surely get to learn. And now to share with you as we move on to our 61 tip. In regards to the most 100 advices from the 100 successful entrepreneurs and successful businesses is make structure changes to increase sales. And this one will be the last one as we discuss. Make structure changes to increase yourself. How do you make structure changes? If you have to write, that is solutions every time to get a contract from a new customer. Okay, let's now take another advance. Listen, if you have to write bespoke solutions every time you get a contract from a new customer instead of having pre-written software that can sell to anyone, for example, then you need to hire programmers to code, and each time you get a new contract, refreshly. This can become partly due to labor costs and partly because you will end up having deals with sort of operational issues such as organizing field workforces. I totally agree. For example, especially for, let's now kickstart it from build businesses or service entities. If you're a contract basis, like deals those are contractor, bakuwa contracti, abantu bagala proposals, bagala I can say deadlines. Your person whose contract has to meet deadlines. How are you going to achieve it? Number one, because different contracts come with different timings, come with different strategies. They're totally different. That is why it's advisable you have to hire up a team that is actually going to help you put up this particular commodity in the right path or in the right service or structure. And lastly, just to highlight on to this one, as the beginners, because now I've said for this for a stable at least service entity or service provider, or maybe product or service, then for the starters, how do you timely, progressively make structure changes to increase sales in case you're starting? Just from me and from the experience I've had, do not kick off to start and be like a push harder, like I'm going for it, I want to start and go for it. Do not be that person, because working on pressure for the beginners, you end up missing a very serious and very important point. Let it be in manufacturing, you will miss up a step because you're on pressure. So do not be on pressure a lot. Just calm, tame it, because step by step you will get there, and know especially when to call up for changes in case you need to increase sales. Very well, that brings us to the end of our business tip and our SMB for this particular Monday, 9th of August. Oh, I think I've had a very sweaty morning because of my hair, I think. Thank you so much for having been part of us, waking up with us, and also starting your day with us right here on SMB. My name is RITAH KABANYORO. We've been driving together from 7 to coming to 11 now, when we're expecting UJ to collab with Edith and Fred Makoya. For now, I sign off and I say bye-bye till tomorrow. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.